You watch any Dream production yet?
Dream production? Are you talking about Inside Out?
Inside Out. I think you'll like it. It's very Hollywood. Yeah.
Like making fun of Hollywood?
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I haven't really paid that much attention, but it seems very like documentary style.
Oh yeah.
We're walking around.
There's a lot of that recently. There's that one show that's making fun of superhero movies.
Yeah, the franchise.
The franchise. There's a lot of shows like that recently.
Yeah.
What does that say about Hollywood?
We've really run out of ideas.
You know what else is interesting about Hollywood?
What?
They don't really shoot movies there anymore.
True.
I mean, they do.
They do,
But, you know, Louisiana, New Orleans, Little Rock gets quite a lot of straight-to-VOD video movies.
Shout out.
Shout out much of John Cusack's latest stuff.
Yeah. Michael Rooker, a little...
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah. A little Robert Patrick.
Yes.
Which we won't say a bad word about Robert. He can do whatever he wants.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, we've talked about two things we're not talking about.
No. But that's fine. Good cold open.
Yeah. It gives me time to check. Okay, I'm still recording.
Not a funny cold open, but you know what? An insightful one.
Maybe is that like our new thing for the next year? To be insightful instead of dumb.
We gotta change the world. You know?
Yeah.
It's up to us, a channel with less than 700 subscribers.
We could do it. We could do it.
Yeah, for sure. But no, we're talking about movies we're thankful for.
Yep.
And we'll brief the audience that neither of us really came up with anything before the video.
Yeah, well, because I didn't know which way you were going.
I did tell you I was going to get a little weird with it.
Yeah, but also I didn't know if this was like sentimental, like we're all sitting around a Thanksgiving, dinner and saying what we're thankful for.
Thankfully, this is not coming out around Thanksgiving.
I know, but or it's like, is this like something that like means something to me that changed my life, or is this just something that like I'm glad that I've got a goofy thing?
I was thinking more along the lines of, it's the holiday season. You're supposed to be around your family. But also those kind of movies that just make you feel thankful that you like movies.
Okay, I can go with that. So I will give you a little insight. I did try to think about, I have like just stuff I've just been thinking about, but I've tried to keep them movies that maybe we haven't talked about as much. Because I mean, like we could all say Mad Max Fury Road, but we've talked about Mad Max Fury Road to death.
To death. Yeah.
So
we won't talk about that.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I came up with the idea, so I guess it makes sense. Thinking about my childhood and the movies that made me thankful that I liked movies, and it technically got a legacy sequel. I'm gonna say the Bill and Ted series, the trilogy and the cartoon.
I was really close to saying this too.
Party on, dudes!
For the time, it gave you a sense that bros could be more than like frat bros or football bros or sports bros.
Yeah.
It was like sometimes, and they weren't even surfer bros, even though they had the accents.
Yeah.
They were what everyone else wanted to be. You have your best friend and you're just vibing out, having a good time.
Well, it's like they weren't even cool.
No,
they weren't. And they weren't like stoners, like outright, Like I think that's what made it, they become people who you can just see yourself in, because it's like, I just want a best friend. I don't need to be cool.
No,
I don't need to be into anything, because they really weren't into
much of anything.
Going
to the Circle K.
They were into Van Halen and music.
Yes,
and that's really about it.
And had big lofty dreams that they never achieve. Yeah, which is exactly what most people in life. I don't want to say everyone fails at their dreams, but people have these dreams, and I would say 90% of us don't get there. Yeah. And so it was good to, as a child, to have that in my life, to be like, oh, you know what? You can chase for something, but you don't have to get there.
Yeah. Or maybe it changes over time.
Or it changes, like which is Face the Music is about.
And that's what I like. It's like, it kind of like, if you look at the whole thing, it really is about like managing expectations, or that, that sometimes what you want is smaller than what you think. Yes. So that's cool. I rented this I begged my mom. Like my dad rented it for me once. Yeah. Because I didn't know what it was, and he knew, and then I loved it. And then every time we went to like a movie gallery or a Blockbuster, I was like, Mom, can we get it? My mom like could not stand it. Like she was like, seriously.
But I will say, do we think the second is the best one?
I think, I don't know, it's hard. It's just, to me, they're the two together. I need to rewatch the third one again. The two together, I think, feel really, they're just kind of right there for me. Like,
they're complementary.
Yeah. You know, there's just so many good quotes from all of them.
Mm-hmm. The second one is my favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it's about existentialism.
It does, yeah.
Just
it is cool. It is just so, because it's like, you'd think that, oh, they could spend just the whole time being in the afterlife, but then it just gets even like weirder.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Like it could have just been like, yeah, they die and they have to like get back, but they're like, they die and they find these like beings and then they have to form a band and then they have to build robots. Like it's just.
And then the third one is wild too.
Yeah.
Because NoHo Hank is playing a robot in it.
That's right. See, I need to go back.
The person from I Saw the TV Glow is also one of the daughters. Yeah. And then one of the other daughters is
Samara Weaving.
Yeah. So it's like the third one is better. If you wrote it off and were like, ugh, I don't need to see another Bill and Ted movie. Trust me, it fits perfectly to make a nice little trilogy. Yeah. And I think you should watch it if you haven't yet. And with that, JD.
Okay, so you went with like one that's like okay, I'll save like maybe one that I'm like, yeah, okay, wow, that just really changed my life.
Yeah.
And I'll go with one that I'm thankful for that it exists, but I'm also thankful for that I feel like doesn't get the love in the grand scheme of the franchise.
Yeah.
And that is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
How do I know you're going to go there? You've been talking about this thing for a week.
I've been thinking about, so here's the thing. I love Mission Impossible.
Yes.
I think it is maybe one of our best franchises. One of our most solid franchises.
It's consistent, yeah.
If you put it, if you put it the ratio of like meh to incredible,
yeah,
it's a positive one.
Yeah.
If ratios are positive, I'm not really sure. I'm not a math person, so
I don't know.
Just ignore all that math talk.
I think ratio is talking about owning someone these days. So.
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
You got your seatbelt on? You asking me that now?
Everyone talks about Fallout.
Yeah.
They love Fallout.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, Fallout is the best one.
Yeah.
They all love Ghost Protocol because it kind of like resets the franchise. But no one talks about Rogue Nation enough. No one talks about that this is Macquarie coming in after kind of helping with the fourth one.
And sort of resetting it.
Just resetting everything and then kind of taking ownership of it.
Yeah.
And then saying, you know what? Enough with this scattered thing where it's different every time. I'm now taking my vision and Tom's vision and the last 4 movies and gonna try to create an arc for Ethan Hunt. It just, I think also like it kind of starts showing up in Ghost Protocol, but they really nail Tom Cruise just being so goofy. Like he is just like, Ethan Hunt is an incredible person, but also it's kind of just like barely holding on.
Yeah.
And I think that like, that's what I love about these the new Mission Impossible movies. So there you go. I'm thankful for Rogue Nation more just because it doesn't get the love it deserves.
No, because clearly I
think I
forgot
this
most
is
of it.
you know, it's like and they try to do the Syndicate and it's got the this is the first time we see Baldwin in the series.
Yeah.
And it's got that whole thing where he's like, it has the line that Ethan Hunt is the living manifestation of destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, Alec Baldwin delivering some of the corniest things.
But he does it so perfect. It's so good.
Are you
going to zag a little bit?
Huh?
You're going to zag a little bit?
Well, it's not out of left field for what we talk about, but it may be out of left field for the audience.
Okay.
I've hinted at this for a long time that it's my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
This is Requiem for a Dream, Darren Aronofsky's second movie, and perhaps his most successful movie in terms of like everyone knows about it. I mean, there's Black Swan.
Yeah.
There's Mother. There's other movies there's The Whale.
Yeah.
But none are as
consequential
to his filmmaking as Requiem for a Dream.
It may be like Black Swan, and that's it. Like, that's maybe the level he gets.
And he can't really make Black Swan without having made Requiem for a Dream. Because they both have the same feeling of like spiraling out of control, and you can't stop it. But I think the reason why I'm thankful for Requiem for a Dream is because it's what got me interested in wanting to be like a video editor. Like I was already doing it. Yeah. I was already in Windows Movie Maker making my Dragon Ball Z.
We've all been there.
And now they're coming back on TikTok, unless I'm just on the algorithm. I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z edits. It makes you feel the insanity that is happening. you feel like you're going on the drug trip with Jared Leto, with Marlon Wayans, with Jennifer Connelly, with Ellen Burstyn. And it's only, I mean, there's other characters, but there's really only 4 characters to this movie.
Yeah.
And the 5th character is the drug, like going through the drug trip. But anytime they shoot up or they take their pills, it's like boom, 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 boom. You see the eye, you see it open up, you see everything. And it's just, you know, it's not as, I mean, it is a little bit depraved, but it is, it is not as like.
It's got a reputation that maybe.
Like, yes, I understand when people are like, it's one of the greatest movies you'll never watch again.
Yeah.
But if you separate it from that and watch it like with a filmmaking critique, it is a movie you can watch multiple times and get more things away from it than just drug addiction. It was ahead of its time for opioid addiction. Yep. Ellen Burstyn, I think she won the Oscar for Best Supporting. And if she didn't, she got nominated for sure. Either way, it is probably one of the greatest feats, I think, of acting of all 4 of their careers. Like, Marlon Wayans has not really done anything serious since then.
No.
And if he has, it's not hit the level. But Darren Aronofsky, he does The Fountain after this, which is also amazing. I think people need to watch it a bit more.
That's a crazy gap, I feel like. You know, that it's,
And then he does, you know, I think he almost makes Wolverine.
Yeah, he almost makes a Batman movie.
He almost makes a Batman movie. But Requiem for a Dream just like opens up so much possibilities as like a filmmaking. Just like, go watch it if you're a filmmaker and you've only watched it once. Go back and watch it with a critical eye, and you will learn a lot. Okay. There's a fridge in it that tries to eat Ellen Burstyn's character. I've not watched it in 10 years, and I remember it.
We should do that. We should find a movie that we loved, but we haven't seen in like 10, 15 years, and rewatch it.
Yeah.
But then that could make us sad. I don't know if I want to do it.
Some movies, yeah.
Listen, you know, I feel like I need to go a little bit more serious. Not serious, but, you know, just like inspiring.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and we've talked about it once to death. Not to death. We've just talked about it in one particular video a lot. And to me, I'm very thankful for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
The ring must be destroyed.
Cast back into the fires of Mount Doom.
And I was like, I would have been 9, maybe 10, almost 10.
Yeah.
And my dad just being like, hey, do you want to go see this movie? Having no idea what it was about. Never heard of Lord of the Rings
before. So
before.
you saw it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters. Okay. Having like no idea what I was about to walk into.
Yeah.
Having no connection to Lord of the Rings as a book series.
Oh, you didn't read anything?
No, I had no idea what it was.
Didn't even watch the cartoon?
Didn't watch the cartoon. Yeah. I did all that afterwards.
Yeah.
And so walking into this movie and just being blown away by it. Very quickly a movie that as soon as it came out on DVD, I was like, I gotta watch this again. And then I get into like all the behind the scenes features. And it really was a moment that I think, you know, there are other movies that I love that I think helped push that like love of film. But nothing more than like watching hours upon hours of Peter Jackson talking about, you know, how they made these movies.
Yeah.
And how they made the costumes and how like the like love and respect for the story and just like pulling it off. It was so to me, like, I know, like, I think it's an incredible, perfect movie. But like, it really like, but personally, it is a movie that kind of like changed everything for me. You know?
For people of your age, it is your generation's Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's someone who like, I love Star Wars. I loved Star Wars before I even saw Lord of the Rings. Like, I'd seen all the movies, but there was just something about this. It was like, seemed tangible, and it just seemed different. And also being a kid and not everyone knew what it was, or not like, I felt like I was in my own world for a little bit. Like, I had a couple friends that knew what it was and had seen it, but not really. Like, it felt special to me. You know?
And there was, at that time, if you think about fantasy movies, other than Neverending Story and perhaps a couple others, you don't really get any like high concept, like big budgeted fantasy movies until Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I think this is like, not only does it kind of help usher in this unfortunate era of franchises and IP, but like, it really does. I mean, without this, there is no, you know, HBO Game of Thrones. You know, there's still the books, but like this kind of starts that like groundwork for this can be taken seriously. You can have things like hobbits and elves and dwarves and
it can be fun and serious at the same time.
And just be a beautiful story. And I love the whole franchise. I love the whole series, but like there's something about that first one that to me just is special. And that's I just love it. And so yeah, it's not like controversial to be like Lord of the Rings, great movie.
But this is a movie. These are movies we're thankful for. So it doesn't have to be.
And I've got the connection. I see it with my dad, and then and then we went to every movie. Like we went opening night to the rest of them, and then I remember going to like Walmart at midnight to get the DVD.
I didn't have the connection you had, but I they're very good movies.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but I will say, my dad rented all the DVDs or whatever each year, and we had them. Back then you get them for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So I watched the behind the scenes documentary that's on there, and I loved that more than I liked the movie. Behind the scenes stuff back then felt like when you're a teenager, you feel like, oh man, this is the craziest thing. The fact that they shot all of it, and then around the same time, I also watched the Apocalypse Now documentary. So that's when I really became like, behind the scenes stuff rocks.
Oh, it is. I think that Lord of the Rings thing is maybe the peak because there was so much that they were doing with it. And I think they had the foresight to be like, we need to document this experience. But yeah, I mean, come on. I could tell you that, you know what Orlando Bloom did when he was, when he had a day off? He'd go jump out of a helicopter and snowboard down some mountains. It was, awesome.
It's a wild time. But Orlando Bloom really blew up there for a second.
Yeah, like no one knew who Orlando Bloom was.
Those are movies we're thankful for.
Yep.
I want you to put some in the comments. If you actually made it to the end of the video, bravo, because most people don't. If you're seeing this on THV11 Plus, I don't know how you get it to us. Figure out a way. Find a way to send it to us.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it. I'm thankful for movies.
I'm thankful for movies too.